There is a culture and sense of community behind every Burger Boy event. People come together, have fun, celebrate food, celebrate the atmosphere, the burger. It's a calendar event to savor. At its core, however, is a certain vibe, a DC vibe, as Chris puts it. And I have to say, I really enjoyed listening to the boys talking about places in Washington, a couple that have perhaps long since closed down, that they'd experienced separately but remembered with that sense of joy and nostalgia. The sense I get from both is the authentic passion for food, good flavor, fun, and that good old, down-to-earth, hometown lifestyle, taking it with you wherever you go. Thanks, Chris and Burger Boy. See you again soon.
The podcast from through.Enjoy is, I think it's really cool, and that is what I wanted to say.
Two and a mic. I'm joined by Chris, that everybody is already aware of on this particular channel. But in addition, we have special guest star Burger Boy. How's it going?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing really good. I'm pretty tired. It was a busy weekend and a busy start to the day on Monday, but I don't know. I'm full of energy and endorphins. I'm good. I like all the time, like after like a Burger Boy event, like the lead up is like like this, and then yeah, I mean it's really satisfying that it was like the fourth edition that we did, and it just feels more and more like every time I do it, like especially at Manifest, like it's feels like home. So it's pretty cool.
Good stuff, man. Good, great to hear. Chris, what about you, brother? How you doing?
Good. I'm hanging in there. It was a long week. It was a good event, good weekend. It's always good to see friends come out and enjoy themselves and around food and booze, good conversations.
I think that's the thing. It's like, I guess everybody's like so busy during their week, and everybody kind of says, hey, let's hang out, let's do this, let's do that. And when you actually have an event like in one spot, you can get everybody to show up and be like, hey, you can drink, you can eat and spend a lot of time, and then you get to hang out. It's like somewhat, right? At least for me, like front of that, like more like on the, like I know Chris is like in the kitchen a lot, but still, like, I remember we had like a really fun moment. We were just having a drink outside, and it was like golden hour, and we were all outside, and I remember thinking like, okay, this is nice.
Especially on Saturdays, I think as you get older too, and you're working, and you're like, what am I going to do on Saturday? There's no football to watch. It's summertime, it's hot, and you're like, what can we do today? And I think it's nice to have these events here and there just to get people together and have a good time. And I think Manifest is a great spot for that. When the outside is open, you can just go roam around and come as you go. And I saw Zach was talking to guys from all over.
Yeah.
I never seen him have more than 2 beers either. I was like, whoa, man, he's the white homie's really letting loose, man.
It had nothing to do with that. She drinks more than I do, but yeah, no, it's that kind of place. So definitely we've got to use as many opportunities as we can. Say the name Manifest, because it's give it a plug, because it's a great place. It's we'll talk about that more. But so Chris always introduces me, Burger Boy, to cool people. So I also had the chance to speak with Auntie Shirley a couple of months ago, who's a fantastic person to speak with. And here you are, and you guys have got a connection, which is quite interesting, because you kind of discovered it a bit later.
Yeah, I mean, the more we hang out, the more I'm like, yeah, we have like the passion, like several different passions, I think, that we connect with, but definitely in terms of food talk, it's right up there. We're both from Washington, D.C. We're both brothers. We love living in, you know, I think we love living in Berlin, in this city. I think a lot of this city, and I mean, I think we probably have the same mind in terms of like trying to leave your home to go check out other spots, and also kind of be different within that, you know, that area. And obviously our passion comes through like burgers, but I think like Americana style of food done right, which I find that like in Europe, you know, there's some really good burger spots, but there is a gap. There's, you know, sometimes I find that, no bashing on some of the European taste buds, especially maybe German, sometimes like they might have an impression of what burgers might be, and that's fine, but the potential to make something really good was there. So I think, yeah, we kind of connected through, I think it was Chris, or maybe saw, I used to do burger, I do burger reviews, and I think he saw one of the reviews pop up, because I think the first spot I tried here was like Goldie's, and they were just trying out the smash burgers. I think Chris with Humble Pie sent me a message and was like, "Hey, what's up? You should come try the fried chicken." And I saw the picture. I was like, "God damn, that looks good."
Yeah.
And so I
I
think,
think it started before that, because I was
okay,
during like the lockdown, and
okay,
I was just like, you know, always at home looking at food, and I was making burgers at home, and I haven't really been a burger guy for a long time. And then when we kind of connected, you kind of sparked my interest for burgers again. I was more into the chicken, like fried chicken sandwiches, grilled chicken sandwiches were more my thing. I don't know, I just kind of shied away from burgers. I mean, I still love them, but you know, it wasn't my go-to. And then I think during the lockdown, you were doing reviews in Paris, and it just popped up on my feed somehow. And I was like, "Who is this dude?" You know, like, this guy is unbelievable. I was like, "This is too much." And I was like, "Let me check him out." I started going through, and I was like, "All right, this guy's funny, man." But I felt like something. There was a vibe, you know, maybe like a DC vibe. I was like, because I could kind of relate to the way his lingo and wordplay was coming out with describing the food. And then I saw that he did the review at Goldie's, and I was like, "Oh, this is like, this guy's here now." And then I tried to scoping him out, and then as I was trying to grow my business, I was like, "Let me invite him out for a burger review." And that was like viral burger review. It was really good. You know, he had like a whole team of a whole movie set team out there with like a sound boom and everything. I was like, Jesus. And my college was like, "Who is this guy?" I was like, "I don't know, man. He's not playing around, you know." So
that's actually pretty accurate. Yeah, and I started Burger Boy. I was, you know, the reason why I started it, I guess, is, I mean, I've always, yeah, first job I've had was like working like in a French kitchen in Washington D.C. Shout out Bistro Le Pic. Shout out Jesus, the guy that was making me peel shrimps on a Friday afternoon and told me to put lemon all over my fingers and taking the bus. I smell like shit. But I really love the camaraderie. I love the vibe. It was so much fun. And then, yeah, I went into hospitality and restaurants. And then I moved. I mean, I was born in Paris, and I moved back to Paris. And all the French were like, you know, in Paris now we have the best burger, blah blah blah. It's the best, and you don't know. And you know, and I said, bullshit. I'm going to see what's the best burger here. Huh? And Paris does have amazing burgers. And like, I think in terms of, they eat so much McDonald's, and you know, they're talking about their baguette and shit, but they love McDonald's. French love McDonald's. So if you're French, you know you love McDonald's. And I guess there was a smash burger coming out called Dumbo, which, you know, everybody I think tries to replicate. And I was with a friend, and I was like, you know what, let's just review this and see what's up. And it was like amazing burger. And I guess I started doing review. That one was popping, and I was like, holy shit, like France does have some good burgers.
that's the one I saw, the Dumbo
That's
one.
the Dumbo one does have some shitty burgers, and
Great.
it's great burger. And then I was in Berlin, and then Chris hit me up, and it's true. My first year in Berlin, I was just like, oh my God, all over the place, like trying to socialize as much as I can. And I was like, hell yeah, I got to support my bro. And I didn't know him like that, but I think I did show up with a good crowd. And it, like, the chicken biscuit burger was amazing, like really amazing. And that's when I was like, holy crap, there is somebody out here from the States that really, like, it tastes even better than stuff that you eat back home, like in Washington. And it was very accessible because the crew I was with, they were like, it's insane. And so I was like, man, Chris has some serious magic in those fingers and in that brain. Like he pause, but he gets it. You know what I mean? Like he definitely gets it. So and I think, yeah, then we just kind of connected a bit more and ate a lot of food.
Yeah, Chris always says that the best basketball players come from Washington D.C., but I mean, it seems as though some pretty good chefs and some creative burger guys come out of D.C. too. You mentioned Jesus, Adrian. Chris, what about you? Because you always talk about some guy who inspired you back in D.C. and so on. Do you want to give a shout out to some of the people there who set you off on this journey?
Well, I think I started. My mom was like had a catering business, and in the mornings when I was like 10 years old, she'd make me get up at 4 a.m. to drive to Bethesda and drop off all the the pies and the vegetable lasagna, and she had a big group of clients out there in Bethesda. So I saw it from a young age, and I was like, God, like I hate this so much, and. And then when I got out of high school, she was like, you can either go to culinary school. She already signed me up because I was like, I don't want to do anything, And she signed me up for that, Johnson and Wales. And then she was like, or you can go to a prep school and play golf and try to play basketball. And I was like, had no interest in any of it. And then my brother had a friend who was a chef, Bobby. And he was like, you're going to go work for Bobby and make salads like on Wednesday nights and desserts. And I was probably like 16 or 17. And then I hopped around different restaurants, and we got more into like big time catering, production, and stuff like that. And I worked for a long time for a family friend named Ken Upton in Annapolis, and Ken has catered for like Prince Philip, Ted Koppel, all his daughter's weddings, and like Steve Bisciotti for the Ravens, owner of the Ravens, his weddings, his son's weddings. So working in that kitchen with Ken, he really enjoyed traveling. And he enjoyed family entertaining his friends and family. So like he would always have parties, invite everyone. He'd always be traveling to Europe. And I was like, man, this guy is so cool, And I'm best friends with his son. So we always had a good time. And then I saw the attention to detail that he had and the way that he brought all his family and friends in. And, as long as you were willing to work hard, he paid you well and kept you, took care of you. So. And I just loved the way he ran his business and the food. And I was like, man, this is really, it was different than a lot of people run their food businesses, So, and then once I started doing that and the custom menus and, the one-on-one client stuff, I was like, this is really what I enjoy. And you can make any type of dish and that type of cultural dishes from around the world, but just stay true to them, you know what I mean? Like I like to stay true to American food, so that's why I like doing burgers and fried chicken and stuff and Southern comfort food. But then that's where I think we connected here in Berlin, because I think there was definitely like if you're gonna do something that you enjoy and you love and have a passion for. So, and that's when we connected with this Burger Boy event.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that's like super interesting. Chris mentions that it's like, sometimes like less is more. I mean, I know that sounds very cliche, but especially on burgers, right? And it's really, really difficult as the burger boy, honestly speaking, to find somebody that can speak the same language about burgers. And it's not just burgers, but I knew when I was talking about with Chris, it's like we were like, I know, like we'll go to the bar and have drinks and literally just talk about burgers for like 2 hours, 2.5, and it's like, yes, but how much do you butter like one of my big things is like making sure you butter the buns and making sure it's like golden and crispy bacon, the grip, and like a lot of burgers you'll see will like throw in a bunch of like too much, like tomatoes too thick, or everything falls out. They want to just add. And, I think like the good burgers actually, or just like good food in general, what Chris was talking about, it's very simple. Like it's super simple and authentic. And there's only like little small details that you can add to really make something special. So yeah, like actually finding somebody that speaks the same way about the burgers and like notices the details. And it's like when we talk about like, okay, let's do another burger or like try something new. Like we actually spend like a good time like thinking about it before, saying, okay, this could work, and like something small, like adding a bit of this to the sauce, or do you grill the jalapenos, you pickle them, like and it's a lot of fun. And I think in terms of like doing these Burger Boy events, like listen, for a while, I mean, I cook burgers at home as well, and with friends come over, and definitely like I love doing it. And I think I was coming to a point where I was doing reviews, which was great. I was reviewing places, but also there's so many places you can actually review in Berlin because there's not that many burger spots I found that I really wanted to review. And I pretty much reviewed a lot of them I wanted to in like 2-3 months. And then I also was trying to think, how can I take Burger Boy the next step, because it's eating burgers, but I also see it kind of like a somewhat of a lifestyle, I guess, to make it sound like bringing people together, good vibes, good times, whatever. And we decided, okay, like Chris works at Manifest, the place is awesome, good beer selection, and we say, okay, like how can we partner up both of our passions and get people through the door and actually make burgers and literally see if people love the burger, which they do, but also, making a burger that people here don't have the opportunity to try. And it's been pretty much home run so far. Like it really is a damn good burger or burgers.
I can definitely attest to that as well, as I've partaken in a few. When you speak, that reminds me because of a certain sort of question I wanted to ask. You're both proud of your sort of heritage, Americana food, Washington, D.C. You want to bring that culture also that you grew up with, hardworking, you got to put it in to be able to sort of reap the benefits of that. And I sense that you put all of that into your work as well, both of you. How do you, because Europe is really proud of its food, right? And so, how do you line up a burger and say, hey, we can measure up against what you guys have got? How do you do that?
Chris, take that. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. I got my, yeah.
I mean, I don't think like I was sitting out to be like, I'm going to make the best burger than anybody else. I just set out to say, like, I want to prepare a burger the way I think it's supposed to be prepared to make people enjoy it. You know what I mean? This is what, like, I think about food probably 23 hours a day. The other hour I'm thinking about, whatever it is. But I just enjoy it, and I think I do a lot of research on the history of it, because like really hamburgers came from Hamburg, with the immigrants coming to the U.S. and learning the history and the story about food, it kind of makes you understand a better way to prepare it. Just like in anything that you want to be good at, you have to learn from the basics of where it came from, why they chose to do it like this. And I think in Illinois or Ohio, the Midwest, they were having like these state fairs or county fairs, and they had some German immigrants were bringing over this minced meat. The Germans invented the meat grinder, and they were coming over from Hamburg into New York, and they had these like kind of this Salisbury steak. You've seen this stuff before, and they were thinking, how can we move this around? Let's put it between bread. But a burger or a sandwich has been around forever. It was a way for people to, especially blue collar people, to be able to work, take a break, and eat quickly. And they call it like a poor boy or something like that, like a po' boy sandwich or a hamburger. It's like supposed to be cheap, fast, and quick, fast food. But you can also make it good. You can make it gourmet. That's can you say make it gourmet? So, you try to source the best ingredients, the best beef, use the best seasoning. Make the sauces fresh, and to get the best bread. We don't cut corners with any of the stuff we do. A lot of places, in all respect to them, my food might cost a little bit more, but I always try to get the best stuff that I can and try to do something that's different than everybody else is using. And it really shows. I remember I used to eat at a burger place back in the day. It was, what was it called? It was like a New Orleans style restaurant. It didn't last very long, but I just remember like still to this day when I was a kid, like how buttery the bread was. And I was like, this makes it so good. Like no one wants a dry rye bread on a burger. You ever had like a whole wheat burger bun? It's just like,
My to that point, my first experience of like a really good buttered bun was Fuddruckers. Shout out Fuddruckers.
Oh, that's one of my favorite places.
We talked about Fuddruckers. Like I was so sad when if you guys are listening, you know Fuddruckers and you've had it, you know like that bun was like essentially it's so buttery, so juicy. They got the toppings, the jalapenos that they would put on. Like I mean, it was Fuddruckers. I think with Fuddruckers actually and Hamburger Hamlet. I remember they used to have one in Bethesda. I used to like Hamburger Hamlet. You know, Hamburger Hamlet. Like they closed down, but Fuddruckers I think was one of the moments like I really understood like a nice burger that's accessible for everyone.
Yeah.
And
I love how they had the toppings on the side. You know, they just focused on the burger and your cheese you wanted.
Exactly.
And you would get your little bell and it would ring and you would like run up there as a kid. And your burger's sitting there and the lady's like, "Here's your burger." And then you like have this topping bar of like 15 to 20 different types of toppings, pickles, onions, tomatoes. So you can just make however you wanted it.
It's the OG Five Guys in terms of toppings. Like
and I think maybe that their downfall for their business plan was just like all the toppings sitting out every day they have to throw away.
Yeah. So, it's a lot of fresh, like
a lot of stuff that you have to prepare and like especially like on buffets, you can't use that food again. And I know they probably did, but you know, it's not safe, you know, food wise to have like people breathing on the food all day and then but they also cooked on a grill, which you know, we've talked a lot about this, like how burgers shouldn't be cooked on a grill. You know, they should be cooked on a flat top where the the juices can stay inside the meat and actually keeps it more flavorful. You know, because everything they always saw them throwing the burgers on the grill and stuff.
Yeah. But
and they had the pounder challenge there. I think they had the pound burger challenge, and you would go on the wall if you could eat a pound burger. What's that
in kilograms? What is that?
16 is how many grams is this?
I know my sister took on the pound. My stepsister Daniela, because at the time she wanted to make a bit of money, so one of my friends like offered her $5 if she would finish it, and I think she did, but she was really sick. But she did. She's an entrepreneur. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, I think like respect, like it's so interesting how, you know, also some Europeans, you know, they see the burger as being kind of like, oh, vulgar, or, you know, like especially years ago. I think that mentality has changed a lot over the years. But, you know, the burger was like, a lot of people say, oh my God, the burger is not healthy, it's not good for you. But like, you have a lot of great burger spots in Europe with like amazing quality, amazing produce. And, you know, to Chris's point, it's like you kind of focus on what you do best. And, you know, I love some of the burgers in this city, like really like stuff that I would probably order, like my love for Burgermeister, for example. It's accessible. It's not that expensive. It's consistent. It's so good. But then again, it's like, you know, what would be the point of creating something that's exactly like that, right? Because that's not who your identity is. It's not what you want to do. You can learn a couple things from people like here and there, but also people like kind of feel that if it's not authentic. Like I think why people love Chris's food, for example, because it's genuinely him. It's like there's an inspiration from different parts of, I guess, his culinary background, his personality, like his fried chicken sandwich and humble pie. Like it's pretty Chris. Like there's a lot of elements to that. And the same thing when we do the burgers and Burger Boy, like when I go do my reviews or when I bring people to events and everything, it's authentically me. So it's how I am right now in this podcast. It's how I am when I have friends over for dinner or on my everyday life. And I think that's how you can express, like food brings you to so many emotional places. And I think for burgers, it's like, it reminds you of childhood. It's unpretentious, but it can be gourmet. And I think, you know, it's worth the price when you do eat something that you can taste that it's made with love, that it's fresh. And I think when we work together with Chris, like we don't want to compromise on any of that. So I think that's one of the main things.
I did hear a lot of people saying like the bacon's actually crispy. Like
Mm-hmm.
the burger has good grip. I can put it down. It's not slopping everywhere, And yeah, it's just keeping it simple. But it was funny thing. Like my buddy David always told, like I always made fun of him because he would always order a burger and he would just get like cheese and meat and stuff. And I was like, he's like, that's all you need on a burger. And we always made fun of him about it. But then he was like, never cheddar cheese. You always put American cheese like on a burger. You never put cheddar cheese. And this guy has been, his dad is, owned the catering company. So he's always eaten well his whole entire life. But he would always go to the bar. He's like, just give me a cheeseburger. That's it. Like he might get some onion on it or something, some ketchup. But he's just like, simple is good. As long as the meat's there, the bread, and you got that American cheese. It's what everybody wants,
Yeah, and I think that's the thing too. When I was living in Paris, like one of the things that drove me crazy was that they didn't use crispy bacon. Like I'd have to tell the burger spots, like, please put it on crisp it up. And and the French were like, you know what, we like this soft bacon, but I'm like, it was driving me nuts because like you eat it and then like the bacon's like flopping, you got to tear it, and like that was my biggest thing in France. Like I was like, putain, come on, crisp up the bacon.
Yeah,
and
crunch, that extra crunch to kind of help the bread. And it's like, oh, that taste of like the cheese and the meat and the bread, and you have that little bits of bacon in the middle. It kind of scratches the top of your mouth. You're just like, oh, this is what I need, to break up the cheese. And it's like, oh, that's what I love. That.
And the thing is, it's like when we do the Burger Boy event, and you were there, Zach, on Saturday. Like one of the biggest things is you see the burgers coming in front of the people, and they are so happy. Like they eat into it and they're just radiating with joy. And then what happens is that it comes to a point where then they, when we do these events, they tell their friends to come. And, because they know it's not just going to be a good burger, but they're going to have a good time. Like, some of the people, and it's fun too, because there's some people that end up like, you don't really know them. You just kind of know them through social media. And there's like, hey, yep, we're here for the event. We saw about it. Like, this is what we booked our day for. And I guess you kind of make a commitment to like, okay, like you want them to have a good time. You want them to be well fed. And I think that's where Chris and I really bond on that, because we both understand hospitality, right? Like he studied it, I studied it. We worked, as you were talking about, work ethic, like as well. I mean, shout out Jesus, but shout out my mom too. Like I was basically growing up in the kitchen with her. Like she was making like, oxtail and eggplant stews, just cooking. And, that was the only time during the day. Sometimes we had time to hang out and listen to music. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess that's that common kind of energy and bond. And, it's not just us, it's part of the cooking, but also like how you make people feel when they're part of your product, your experience, and they want to be a part of that, and you want to share it. You don't want to be doing just the stuff for you. You want to be able to share it with as many people as possible.
That's my number one enjoyment in life. Is I used to work at country clubs, and people were always complaining, and if you cater a wedding for 250 people and you start at noon and you go home at 1 a.m. and you're burned and you're sweaty, but it's the best night of these people's lives.
Yeah.
You just got married and you cooked all the steaks to perfect medium, and you're in the middle of a field and there's a rainstorm, and now you're having beers with your buds after, and you're like, wow, I can't believe we did that. And you got out of it, and then we can start over the next day,
Mm-hmm.
And that moment will always be etched in those people's lives. And you gave up your Saturday night, but you got something out of it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, and you also, when you mention Burger Boy, about when the burger arrives and people's looking at it. So I on Saturday, I saw the lady come out of the kitchen and my burger's there, and you got this cool package with this, like the paper, and the paper, basically in the middle of that paper you've got this burger. So basically the burger, it's delivered as well with the face up. So basically you are presenting almost like the crown of food, as it were. Yeah. I was half expecting the Carmina Burana to start playing in the background, this like this movie and this light and so on, and then the burger emerges out of the light. But is that all a part of the process? So it's just like from that very first moment you set eyes, that burger's for you. That's coming to you. You kind of watch it and you start salivating as it approaches.
Don't touch your fingers off. Touch my burger.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you eat with your eyes and your nose, and You know, like I remember I think we opened at 2 and I arrived at like 1. The first thing I smelled was the kitchen. Like I could smell the bacon being crisped up. I can, you know, you start hearing the sizzle and yeah, you're like, this is gonna be good. But I think, yeah, Chris, how he like those dirty fries, for example. I mean, the way I think they were just like
Can you tell us what
beautiful.
what is because people listening, I'd
Chris,
never heard
what are
of
the dirty
dirty
fries?
fries until I saw Chris said
It's just
you got to try the
nasty.
dirty
It's
fries.
dirty.
Nasty.
It's dirty. Like, after you're done, you feel dirty. You feel like you just did something wrong.
You sinned.
Yeah, you just been sinning all afternoon. But I think people like I got a lot of compliment about the fries. You know, it's
You were
just,
great.
and when I work with people, we're a team. You know, we're all on the same level, and I always entrust the people that I work with to give their own little insight to it. You know, so I always try to let them be creative. So I said, this is what I'm looking for. And then like Moa, she was just making the fries, and she likes to make them big. And I think everybody at Manifest and Burger Boy, like we like fast food. You know, we like burgers. we like to drink and hang out and eat good food. And I think this event really encaps like all of us. You know, Yvonne, shout out to Yvonne. She works hard. She's always sending me like stuff dipped in cheese and burgers and Italian sandwiches with cheese and sauce. And it's like, this is what people enjoy. This is comfort food. It's what makes you feel good. So I always try to make, when it comes out, that has the aesthetics to it. You know, it's an art, it's a culinary arts. And our art is food and making it look good, making it taste good. So I just like people to be expressive with their food. And I think once you know what looks good to the eye, it's going to look good and feel good in the stomach, So
yeah, and I think that, so to answer the dirty fries as well, like they're basically, no, because people need to know, like they're, I mean, so yeah, there's like homemade nacho cheese sauce, onion is it onion jam, crispy bacon, jalapenos. We got chives on there.
We put some scallions. We put
scallions, yeah.
It's kind of my take off the animal fries from In-N-Out Burger. I mean, like, so in California, there's In-N-Out, and they put like this. It's very simple, but they put like this mac sauce cheese and this onion jam, and it's just like the way that the onion jam and the sauce kind of goes with the potato. It's like, it's funny because like Anastasia in the kitchen, I think she's never tried them before. I don't think we did the event before when she was there, but I was like, try this. She was like, damn. And she was like, and I turned around and I left the kitchen. I came back and she was back there eating them, looking at me like, she was like, this is so good. I was like, yeah, it's like, this is those flavors complex. I want to bring those and share that with other people, like that these flavors go well together and it makes you like happy,
And honestly, those fries, like, okay, a lot of places in Europe, they make burger, like you can get good burgers. You can get, good burgers pretty much almost anywhere. There's some countries that don't really get burgers, like Italy, Portugal, Spain, to a certain extent, like the Latin countries. I mean, they don't need to. They got their own stuff, right? Yeah. But like, I found that like in Europe, the one thing that people can't make right is that type of fries. Like either they'll put like, they won't understand the concept sometimes of like having like loaded fries. Like either there's going to be cheese in one spot or there's going to be just something else on another spot. And it's like the burger, it has to gel. Like it has, like every bite that you take with your fork, there has to be at least one, at least give the impression that there's like one ingredient of each when you're taking that in. And sometimes it's like, I'm like, holy crap. Like I rarely order. That's why when I do my burger reviews and also for my weight, like I couldn't like eat the fries because I want to eat as many burgers as possible. So I just prioritize like burgers, but also like I find that fries, like in the most part, and like a lot of more fast food or quick service spots, unless you're like, a Five Guys or even a McDonald's, like they don't hold very well. Or they're very difficult, or if you add stuff to it, it's just very difficult. And like, then you end up with like a stale fry or maybe too much of a doughy fry. And for me, like a good fry would be like a nice crispy, salty, slightly peppered, that can hold and stay quite warm, and that you can add other things too, right? Like you don't want the fry to break if you're scooping it up, in there. I mean, it's a true, it's I was just talking about it. It's true love.
because like, but if you have loaded fries, you have to have these like kind of industrial type fries.
Right.
You know, I'm more of a fan. I like both, but I'm more of a fan like the hand cut smaller fries with like some oil vinegar, like boardwalk style fries, you know, from Ocean City. Like I love boardwalk fries, you know, with the malt vinegar and the salt, and they're thick, and the rustic potatoes. But when you're doing like loaded fries, you have to use like a kind of industrial frozen fry to kind of hold all that stuff together. They're durable, you know, they have this extra coating on them, and
and that's one of the things too. It's like you make a good point. It's like a lot of these products as well, like they're all fresh, they're all made like by professionals that love their art. But you know, there's some, like for example, like the whole like, you know, Europeans or, you know, the French, oh my god, I love the fromage, but American cheese, oh my god, we don't do American cheese. But we do not put this American shit on my burger, you know. But you have to understand, like, American cheese is amazing for burgers. Cheddar's good too, but it doesn't melt the same way, right? And so but I think sometimes Europeans don't understand exactly what American cheese is, because it's American cheese. They think it's like Velveeta or Cheese Whiz, which no, it has its benefits. But American cheese, and Chris will tell you more about, like on the Hot Boy burger, for example, we use white American cheese, which gives so much creaminess and just indulgence to the burger.
Yeah, and it coats it on the outside, so then you have like this like layer of cheese around it, but it doesn't overpower it like a gorgonzola would or something. So that's when you bite into it, it just kind of sticks it together, and it helps the bun and the ingredients also stick to that cheese, you know, whatever the processed material that's inside of it. I mean, I've seen people, like, you can take those cheeses and make a sauce and then like cool them and like cut them and make like your own type of like American cheese that's kind of thinned out and flavor how you would like. But yeah, I mean, American cheese is like, if you go to back in the 90s, everybody would have Kraft singles in their fridge, you know. Like parents just like give it to their kids, like, are you hungry, just eat a Kraft single, you know. So like it's like we just always go to the refrigerator, grab a Kraft single, you know, and then that's just what. And I don't really enjoy it either, but I do enjoy it on a burger. It's what makes burgers,
or grilled cheese even, like, you know, well, grilled cheese, you can put like multiple, you know, styles of cheese, but on a burger, like, it's, I don't know, there's so many elements that make a burger so important. But in the end of the day, like, for me at least, when I take a bite into a burger, I have to feel that I'm taking one bite, and I feel that like every ingredient is one, but I can taste every ingredient independently, but it still makes sense as a whole. I know we're getting a little bit philosophical on this, but it's so difficult to do. You know, that's why, like, if we're gonna do a Hot Boy burger, like, we're like, okay, we can only add maybe these jalapenos or this, because anything more will just disrupt the balance. I don't know how you feel about that, Chris, but like, yeah.
No, I really like the Hot Boy was like, you know, my love for Five Guys, and you know, I went to the first Five Guys as a kid in DC. My aunt took me, and the burgers were like $4 and $5 US. Back then, now they're like 12 or 13 or whatever. But I remember the feeling of her taking me there. We're going to this new burger place, and they had like, the burgers weren't too big; they were perfect size, and you saw them grilling it. I think that was the different thing. Like McDonald's and other places, they're always in the back. So you go to the Five Guys, you could see them grilling, and they had the peanuts that you could wait as you wait, and the hand cut fries. And I started getting the jalapenos on it, and I was like, man, like that little bit of spice at the bottom when you have like the lettuce, tomato, and the, you know, the ketchup and everything, like, it just makes you just like, woo, it wakes you up a bit, you know, and buds a bit, and you're just like, and it kind of slows you down too, so you can enjoy it more. Because of that heat, you're like, oh, I gotta be safe here. You know, if I eat too fast, like my mouth might be on fire. You know, then you get to enjoy the burger a little bit more.
Yeah.
Sit down, have a drink, take your time, have some fries, and it's kind of like, you know, you don't want to rush through this thing. No. It's just, I love them. Yeah, I really, I swear, it wasn't until you came along, I was over burgers, and then you just like about burgers, and like, you know,
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, you know, seeing your food truck as well, the humble pie and everything, and it's like, I actually also during COVID, like, I was just like making, like, I was doing a live stream on Sundays at like 9, and I was live cooking a new burger and doing shots with people on the live stream, and people kind of like, I was like, all right, and I had like, and that's the thing, like, I was in Paris at the time, I had amazing like a cheese shop that was right there, so like I had like truffle cheese and all these things, so I was just experimenting stuff, and it was awesome because I'd be, having a couple drinks and like sharing it with friends, and people would tune in, like, okay, what's up, Burger Boy, and like it was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
I was doing
And
the same thing during the lockdown. I was always working like during the week, like 12 to 9, cooking at this production kitchen. And so I would either eat there, or when I got off at 9 o'clock, I wasn't really hungry. So I was never really cooking at home. In the weekends, I might cook here and there, but I was always out. But when the COVID happened and I was at home, and I'm like, all right, all these places are closed. Let me start making burgers and stuff. And I would invite some friends over, be like, here, let me make some burgers. And I would put like lettuce and tomato and all this stuff. And I was like, whoa, it's like, that's where I got the passion of like making them again. And then I started making it with less stuff. And then, I like lettuce to kind of break it up a little bit. But I started seeing like, you don't need all this crap on there. You don't need avocados and mushrooms and stuff. You just want to make it simple. I saw a little bit of lettuce, a little bit of onion for me.
Yeah.
I do enjoy cheddar cheese and blue cheese on the burgers.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, blue cheese.
It all depends what kind of. What I was doing during the lockdown, I would make 2 different types.
Mm-hmm.
And I would
Yeah.
I would do like one patty. I would make 2 patties and then 2 different types of burgers. I make like an all-American, with lettuce, tomato, onion, and then I make some with like blue cheese or blue cheese bacon and jalapeno.
Oh yeah. I do blue cheese. I do blue cheese. Like, I know you talk about mushrooms. If I do it, I'd have like bacon. Like, I'd like cook the mushrooms and just do like maybe some onions and blue cheese, and then keep it like that. It was like the Swiss burger from Fuddruckers. What I was that's what my dad would get. Like, he was a little Frenchy. Patrick would be like, oh, let me get the Swiss burger every time. Like, and I was like, remember saying, I was like, yeah, that actually slaps. Like, I mean, it was Swiss cheese, but I think at one point they had like blue or something. Some people don't like blue cheese on the burger. I am a big fan of blue cheese.
I do. I love it. Something about it.
Just saltiness and
I wouldn't sell it to people. Maybe we try it, but for me, it's like blue cheese.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
It's crazy how I feel like very privileged to be able to like take some my experience over the years and childhood and be able to create a burger with you that we can kind of show people like, this is what we talk about. This is what we like on a burger. And then to be able to, feed 120 people on a Saturday, and staff, it's just, and your friends, and see them come together and meeting each other. Now you guys, now when I go to on Wednesdays, and it's like, and you can say, how's Adrian, blah, 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 and we should do another one, So cool how we can just grow this community and of our friends and colleagues and stuff. And like Matea, she's like, oh, I just love Burger Boy. When she found out you were coming on Friday, she's like, no. She's like, oh, like she's always like, I love Matea. I love when she comes to work, but you can tell like how much happier she was to come to work that day.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate. I mean, that's another thing. Like, I know we're talking a lot about the burgers we do and everything, but I've been working more of a corporate job for the past years, and going back into the hospitality field, and this is like what I love to do, like being in the restaurant. I remember the first time we did it was like last year, and I remember I just got such a rush on running food, kind of doing all this stuff. And I remember like when I first had met Matea there, and she's kind of like, what in the world is this? And like now when I see her, she gives me just like the biggest hug, and she's really proud. Like, you can tell the staff is so proud to do this. Like, everybody from Moa, Yvonne, even the owner, like everybody's like fully committed. And it's so cool. Like, we were coming in a bit earlier, menus were being like, it was just like, people were like, because as well, the staff's like, okay, I got my people coming, I got people coming. Like, it was really part of their identity. And, restaurant industry, it's not an easy gig. You miss out on a lot of things and a lot of opportunities. You spent a lot of your time there, like your regular jobs, but a lot more in like very smaller spaces, and it's tough. But like when you do have a team that you like you really believe in something, it makes the experience like 100 times better, and especially for the guests. Like, in the end of the day, it's you're still feeding people that are coming in on on their time off to come to your spot to spend their hard-earned money when they can be doing a million other things or a lot of other places they can go, but they still come to choose you. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know, that's cool. So
We kind of touched on this a bit on Saturday, didn't we? Because as you say, it's not just the food, even though, of course, the food is a huge factor. It's not just the cost, because obviously at the moment, everywhere, people have to sort of tighten their purse strings. It's not quite easy. It's not only that either. You want to, do you remember watching Cheers? You want to go where, okay, people know your name and all that kind of stuff, but also you want to go where you can enjoy it, right? You want to see smiling faces. If you want to be, if you want to sit where everybody's moody, just get on the train at peak time, But if you want to go to eat, you want to walk in, people are happy to see you, but they're genuine. It's not just a face because, I need to sell a product. It's that everybody there is really happy, and that helps to create this atmosphere. And it's like, I want to go again because I had fun, good food, the price is right, and I enjoyed the experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's in a lot of that's honestly, it's the hospitality 101. Making people feel right at home and comfortable, and especially some people were stayed out there 4 hours. There was one.
I left at 11. I was like, these people, they were still there.
Yeah.
I think the team, Nick and Yvonne and the team, they do a good job.
Nick, yeah.
Nick, I remember the first time he was like, okay, and then after the last one, he was texting me and getting ready. He's like, all right, we're gonna have 4 people on at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, blah blah blah. He's like, we're ready to go. And I was like, yeah. I was like, you guys are more ready than me. I showed up late that day, and but I think also it's such a good, the vibe and experience for everyone. Even working, it's everybody working was having a good time. It's also, you're just serving burgers and stuff and beer, and it's simple things, but it's something you can just talk and and I've had some of the people I've seen them this is the 3rd time they've come. And I have clients that I have for Humble Pie who message me asking me when's the next Burger Boy event, and then, oh, don't worry, we're gonna be there. And,
we're gonna I think that's a good point. Some people are true fans, and it's awesome because they come in and they just have a smile on their face, and they know they bring people and they know it's going to be good, right? So, and that's the trust, I guess, that we have in all of us. It was even cool to see Nick, the bartender, okay, well, the kitchen's doing a little special, let me do something. And I think they had ice cream floats and everything, with rum or whiskey. So it's that kind of okay, everybody wants to, everybody's committed to kind of do this, and we obviously I mean, talking about it and doing the Burger Boy stuff, I want people to come in so they get to try. Honestly speaking, I want people to come in so they can actually see what a really, really, really good burger's like. It literally sometimes it comes down to that. You can talk about selling out or whatever, but selling out all the burgers. But in the end of the day, and we were talking about this earlier, when people come in and they some people are genuinely this is the best burger I've had, or it's cool. It's really, really cool. You get a high off of that. I see Berlin, that's a nice natural high.
Yeah, I remember I sat down after around midnight after the night was almost done, and I was like, man, I've been out here all day eating and drinking and talking to people, and there was an extra burger that someone had grilled, and I just took it with the buns, pickles, and some sauce, and just went outside and sat there. And I was I was just too lazy and tired to put anything effort into it else, some pickle sauce. I didn't even put cheese on it. I just went outside.
Just went out.
And I sat there and I was like, damn, this thing is good. It's really good. And then the burger had been sitting there, the meat is sitting there. And I just grabbed a bun that was already been toasted sitting there. I just grabbed it and I was sitting there. I was like, God, this thing. I was like, man, I should go grab another one.
Yeah. I made 2 last night. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's also cool to be part of that, in a city like Berlin. I mean, I moved here over 2.5 years ago, and 100% this is my home away from home. I moved from Paris and lived in a couple different spots all over, and being serving good food and I don't know, like being part of the experience. Like people come and have a good time. Like I find like, Berlin's allowed me, at least for Burger Boy, and as like a person to shine in different ways. Like it's a very open-minded, fun, like accepting place. Where in some cities you don't always get that, but Berlin, like I feel like what you put in, you get back, but you have to be authentic. That's one thing that people I find in Berlin want from you is to really try to be your most authentic person that you can. And obviously, you see that like in with the people that you work with, it's like in Manifest or other places, and people really appreciate that. So I feel like that's one of the things that at least I've seen in terms of food and showcasing your identity, through that, like your authenticity. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and you mentioned that when you first came to Berlin, you were like driving through Neukölln, and you're like, yeah, this is me. So you kind of you got the Berlin vibe immediately, it seemed.
Yeah, I moved here and I didn't even know about like I had never been to Berlin. I've heard about it obviously a lot of times, and I'd always kind of wanted to go, but it was still a little bit further out, and it was like like still during COVID, and I said, all right, I don't really have anything holding me back. I had a job opportunity, and I arrived and I landed, and I took a cab, and I was going through Sonnenallee, and I was like, okay. And I think my first flat was in Kreuzberg, and then now like I'm in Neukölln, of like still off Sonnenallee near Hermannplatz, and yeah, I mean, I think I'm thinking about also trying out another neighborhood, but like after 2.5 years here, I've it's a lot of fun. That's for sure. It's great.
Chris, same for you. You felt home straight away, or what?
No, not really. It took me a while. It took me until I started working. I came here with no job or anything going on, and once I started working, having colleagues and coworkers, and going out after work, and building those kind of camaraderie is where I started to get a little better. But now, after 5 years, I'd say it's my home. I don't really want to move anywhere else. I don't see myself moving anywhere else. I got Zach here. He's always texting me about basketball all the time, So I think it takes a while to kind of get your right friend groups and your interest groups there, So I have my basketball guys, and then I have my foodies like Burger Boy, and then I have people I like if I want to go out to my music people, and like last night I was at every Sunday it's a Soulful Sunday, and a friend of mine, Chef Troy, he has it at the Nest over in Groylisser Park, and all of us sit out there. He has jerk chicken and oxtails, and my buddy Paul, he's from California. He was like, man, it's like DC vibes out here, man. They got jazz playing, and you got this multicultural people from all
drum
over.
circle.
Yeah, it was a drum circle. They said like, hey guys, we're eating jerk chicken and drinking beers and just talking about music, and I was like, this is like, just when I was walking there and knowing what I was going to experience before I even got there, I was like, this is what life is about, like having your Sunday evening, going out to eat with your friends, food it's going to be good, cold drinks, a good view, good music. That's those small victories that you have, and you just know like life is like, this is what I want in my life.
Yeah.
And that's what Berlin has given me so far. But I'm not going to be like, Berlin has changed my life. I'm not one of these people type things. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
like I think, I see what you mean. Like, I feel like when I got to Berlin, I was like in a really good space. Like I was in a really good headspace. I was like, and I think it just kind of, it matched pretty quickly. But then, I was lucky. I came here with a gig, and I knew like one or two people. I like three people, and it was like the right kind of diverse people. There's like this Brazilian guy that I met at like some festival in Poland a couple of years ago that people probably know him, or Danny, like he just knows everybody, and he was one of the guys as well that when I went to Goldie's, he brought some people together to do burger reviews and kind of got me integrated pretty quickly with some of the people that, to be fair, I don't even see Danny that much, but a lot of the people that he introduced me to, like I hang out more probably with them than I do with Danny. And so, that's kind of the way it is. But it's super cool. But I don't know, like I'd like to be able to stay here longer and see what's up and, keep on doing these burger events and, seeing who else wants to taste our food as well. That's kind of neat, like showcase it.
So as you said, have you already planned the next Burger Boy event, or is that something you got to come together and talk about? What's the deal now?
I texted him yesterday after a couple of beers, like, hey, the fall series, we're gonna play.
What's up?
I think it's better to space them out a bit. If you do it every week, not as many people will come. And I'd rather wait till the weather's not so hot and people are lake. A lot of restaurants and bars aren't so busy right now because you had like kind of a rainy May, and now everybody's like out doing stuff. So our best ones have been like in October, like when the weather is like you can sit outside, you can sit inside, or September at those times. So and just give it some. I have a lot of events coming up in July and August as well, so I'll be very busy. And
I think spacing it out a bit's good. I mean, it's also amazing that on Saturday, like it's 2 p.m. It's beautiful weather. It'd been storming before, and I mean, we were pretty steady and consistent. And that that's thanks really to a lot of people that showed up, because it's like, again, I can't stress enough, like during the summer with everything happening, like people come in to have a good time. And I think, fall comes pretty quicker than we think. And, I think we'll try as well to see, it'll give us a bit of time to see, okay, what's the next kind of burger that we want to showcase or put out, or maybe try something a bit different. I mean, it gives us time. Like, I think that's the fun part too, is seeing, okay, and then thinking about, okay, well, this works well, I think the fall time will be a nice reset and regroup to have the next event and make it even more special.
Cool. Okay. But then I hope that we'll get a chance to do another podcast, or maybe even more. Yeah, let's have a chat about that, doing a kind of series and make it kind of dovetail with your online content as well. And that will also give us some more things to talk about for our next show.
A restaurant, and we can do a review or something on here.
Yeah. We can definitely do that. I mean, there's still some burger spots that I haven't tried that I need to review. So I know there's Gully's Burger, for example. I haven't had that, and I heard that's like very creative, super interesting. Like, I definitely need to try that. There's this burger, I think, in KDV that somebody had mentioned. There's a couple of other spots that I want to try, but I think recently I've been really focusing kind of on just pushing a little bit more, like seeing where Burger Boy can go elsewhere than just doing the reviews. But I definitely kind of have to come back to my roots sometimes and get the review game back for our other fellow restaurateurs that make, honestly, there's some really great creative restaurateurs here in Berlin, especially on the burger. I think there's not like that many burger spots, but they're the ones that do it right. They do it really well.
Okay. And where can people find you online? So I'll put up some links and stuff, but if you just want to sort of talk me through some of your social media presence and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I mean, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. So it's _burgerboy_. Simple as that. Then there's a link on my YouTube channel there. I normally keep YouTube when I'm doing like longer reviews, but yeah, and then feel free to message me if you have a recommendation. It doesn't have to be just Berlin, but I'm always looking, like when I travel quite a bit for work. So, if you have a recommendation or just this amazing burger or a really shitty burger, just send it through. I'd love to see
it. Yeah, cool. All right. And Chris, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, You know where to find me. No, I'm just
Okay.
I will be at Manifest and then Plus Kitchen. We have a really cool spicy cheesesteak coming out this week that I'm really excited for. Kind of bring some extra heat.
Okay, but is there any do you advertise this on social media anywhere?
Yeah,
Or do you have
we're working with a PR company in England, the UK actually, and working with North Carolina Sweet Potato Company. They're like the largest importer of sweet potatoes to Germany from the US. So Germany buys a lot of sweet potatoes, so they want to really showcase this with the USDA.
Yeah, Burger Boy, you also got your own gig. So, I mean, do you also have some events where people will be able to attend?
I think what I want to do, in the next, honestly, in the next couple of months, I want to kind of work on a little bit of like merchandising. Like I know some people have been asking about like t-shirts and, getting some hoodies and stuff like that. So I kind of want to see like other ways of kind of like branding it a little bit more, which I'm trying to do. But I think I want to do like a bit of the old school stuff that I used to do. I used to do the core Burger Boy fans used to love the long videos that I used to do. It was like a bit more YouTube friendly. So kind of, yeah, those ones were
nice edits to them, and like it's like a whole story, and you really break down like.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did a long video edit of Burgermeister, and it's actually one of my friends that DJs and a music producer, Invoker, shout out. And I'll do I'm gonna be in Paris the week of the because I got to go back for work, but I'm gonna be there I think from the 7th to the 13th, and I have a bit of time, and I think I want to do a long video, but I want to do another long video in Berlin to kind of encapsulate a little bit more the city and maybe do a burger review with that. So I want to go back to doing a little bit more of the longer ones, more film based, because that's something that people really did enjoy doing. I haven't done those in a while.
Cool. All right, gents, in that case, I'll grab the details from you. I'll put it into the podcast notes, and then everybody will know where to find you and where they can come and support, buy some good food, enjoy some of the atmosphere. And all of that. So thank you very much as well for your time, gentlemen. I took away your cooking, eating opportunity time at the moment, so I'm sure you'll jump into it straight after this. And also thanks a lot for Saturday too.
Thank you so much for having me on. This was awesome. This was great. I'll be happy to come back. So thanks, Zach.
Fantastic. Chris, see you, man.
Yeah, thanks again.
He's getting texts from all of his admirers, and he's got to go through his text messages.
Like, what am I going to eat for dinner, man?
Well, that's the thing. I'm going to make home. I know you don't like pasta, but I have some leftover pesto. I'm going to make some penne, a little bit of pesto, some Parmesan cheese, black pepper. I'm taking a bike home because I'm still at the office. I can't wait.
That doesn't really excite me, but
what are you going to make? What are you going to eat? Are you going to order?
No, I don't want to order anymore. I've been ordering so much, but
so you're gonna cook? What are you gonna make?
I don't think I'll cook either.
So you're gonna order?
Yeah, just go downstairs and
go downstairs, get a good old shawarma.
Yeah, just talk to my Vietnamese friends down there.
Yeah, that's right. Chris, his favorite food is he said it's the best food in the world. He says Asian food. Yeah.
Yeah, I love pho really, and Vietnamese soups are really what I enjoy.
Vietnamese good. Yeah. Bon appetit.
Enjoy, man. Take care. And Mike.